Welcome back to my YouTube channel. In a dystopian world, Juliet passes through a fruitless land as she rummages for whatever can assist her with making do. At the point when she finds a lot of deserted vehicles, she investigates everywhere and even checks the fuel tanks. However, sadly, there's nothing helpful. Subsequent to watching the ocean for some time, she continues to drive and in the end, stops at a corner store. With a firearm close by, she glances through all the racks for any food without much of any result. Unexpectedly, the roof begins shaking, and the snarling of a beast known as Harvester can be heard coming from the upper floor, so Juliet quickly disappears. While driving, she reaches out to her companion, Harry, who is important for her survivor bunch. Juliet illuminates him that her battery is running short and that she'll pursue a faster route to get back to their base. Minutes after the fact, she stops the vehicle when she detects a neglected RV and investigates, just to track down a seriously injured man. As she compromises him with her weapon, she requests to see his injury and asks where the gatherer went, to which the person answers he's locked it inside the RV. He likewise calls attention to there are jars of food in the RV, prior to requesting that she end his misery. In any case, Juliet simply lets him know she should save slugs so he can pass on by, revealing his injury. Then Juliet enters the RV and battles the Harvester, making the vehicle shake a ton as she battles, in any case, killing the animal with a shot. At the point when she emerges, the man is dead. Subsequent to taking every one of the provisions she can find, Juliet returns to the street and drives while checking out at an image of herself with a person. Out of nowhere, the breeze blows the image away, making Juliet get occupied as she attempts to get it, and she winds up with a vehicle going off the street, turning a couple of times prior to arriving over. Juliet blacks out and dreams of her life before the prophetically calamitous. On a blustery day, she visited a workmanship exhibition, yet couldn't grasp the canvases. She then was moved toward by the display proprietor, Jack, who was likewise the person from the image. He could see she didn't figure out craftsmanship, so Juliet conceded she came inside to escape from the downpour and get some free food. Jack tracked down her entertaining and imparted a beverage to her while making sense of how 4-track down magnific. Back to the present, Juliet awakens to find her leg is broken and trapped in the seat. It's also dark outside, which means the Reapers will be coming out soon, and she can't defend herself because her gun has fallen out of the car, so she can't reach it. Juliet tries to move her leg, but it's too painful. So instead, she tries to use the radio, but it isn't working. Using a stick and some wire, Juliet reaches for the gun and manages to move it a bit, but unfortunately, her tool breaks before she can retrieve it. Then another flashback starts showing how Jack left in the middle of the gallery opening to grab a bite with Juliet. She accepted to go to his apartment, and she was shocked to see how beautiful and expensive everything was. She also found his drawings, which showed his great artistic skill. While having some wine and cheese, Jack shared all his family drama and how he handled the inheritance. Juliet explained she had no family, but she found it hard to open up, and Jack's questions made her uncomfortable, so she decided to leave. In the present, Juliet decides to put up with the pain and uses a pipe to free her broken leg. Then she makes a tourniquet and washes the wound with some alcohol before painfully pushing the bone back into place. A new memory begins, during which Juliet went to a bar with a random man. She noticed that Jack was also in the bar, but she ignored him. When Juliet left with the guy, Jack followed her and discovered the man paying Juliet in exchange for some substance. The guy also tried to kiss her, but Juliet angrily turned him down. Then Jack continued to follow Juliet on the train and eventually reached a very shady neighborhood. Juliet bought more substance from a guy, confirming she was a dealer. At that moment, Jack showed himself, so Juliet allowed him to come with her into the building, where she had to pay another dealer before being able to enter her apartment. Inside, Jack discovered how poor Juliet was and offered his help, but Juliet snapped, saying she wasn't a charity case. She tried kicking him out, but Jack refused to leave, so Juliet grabbed an injection to reveal she was also an addict. This caused Jack to get out. Back to the present, Juliet manages to make an improvised cast with things from the car. Then she works on fixing the radio, but sadly, nobody answers her call. At that moment, she hears a Reaper approaching, so she quickly crawls out and grabs her gun before hiding in her car.
Juliet stays quiet while the Reaper wanders too close to the vehicle, and suddenly the radio comes alive with Harry's voice. The Reaper hears it and comes her way, so Juliet has no choice but to throw the radio out of the car. The creature finds the radio and throws it away before approaching the car, but when it's about to get inside, it hears a noise in the distance and goes away. Afterward, Juliet replaces the bullets in the gun while going through another memory. One evening, Juliet was beaten up and went to Jack's apartment for help. Jack didn't judge her or ask questions. He gently cleaned her up, tended her wounds, and left her to rest. The next morning, they had breakfast together, and Juliet asked if she could go for a walk. Jack guessed she actually needed a fix, so an offended Juliet tried to leave, only to find the door locked. When Jack told her he wouldn't let her go until she was clean, Juliet got furious and started breaking Jack's things as she screamed. Jack waited for an opening and then hugged Juliet, comforting her with a kiss. In the present, Juliet finds some glow sticks and throws them outside to see if any Reapers are near. She doesn't see anyone, so she comes out and retrieves the radio. Suddenly, she hears a weird noise and tenses, so she throws the glow sticks in various directions until she finds a Reaper on top of her car. Juliet immediately shoots it before rushing back into the car where she waits for the creature to shoot again. However, the Reaper surprises her from behind by pulling the window cover off. A terrified Juliet tries to move, but the Reaper grabs her leg, so she retaliates by starting the car and pressing the accelerator, causing the wheels to hurt the creature. The Reaper runs away and Juliet tries to shoot it, but she misses. While she's looking out, the Reaper sneaks inside through the opposite window and growls, startling Juliet into shooting it. After the Reaper runs away, Juliet tries to fix her radio, but her hands are shaking, and there isn't any more alcohol she could use to calm down. Another flashback begins showing that Jack and Juliet became a couple and moved to a brand new house together. Juliet had been very nervous during the move, so Jack touched her face to make her smile. Then he gave her a tour of the house and mentioned one room was for their future children, which made Juliet very uncomfortable. Jack also wondered if she would ever say that. She loved him, but Juliet told him he already knew. Back to the present, Juliet fixes the radio and contacts Harry. Although she can't hear him well, she tells him what happened and asks for help. But after Harry says something about a beacon, the connection is lost. Juliet searches the car and finds a box with a beacon, so now she'll have to read the manual to activate it. As she works, she thinks about the day she discovered she was pregnant. The couple was very happy to see the positive result on the test, but unfortunately, 9 months later, the baby died during labor and the couple had to go home to an empty nursery. In the present, Juliet manages to make the beacon work. Then she barricades the windows just in time for the creature to come back. After seeing her through the windshield, it moves to the window and tries to push the cover, so Juliet pushes it down with her feet. The Reaper decides to start hitting the car instead. And at that moment, Juliet gets a call from Harry, who tells her they'll save her soon and reminds her to use light on Reapers. Juliet knows this, but her flashlight is broken. Suddenly, she hears a noise and turns to discover that the creature has broken the windshield. So now it's Sue coming after her from the front. Thankfully, now Juliet can turn on the headlights and the brightness scares the creature away. Afterward, Juliet calls Harry, who is bad news. They will not rescue her until sunrise because it is too dangerous to go out that far at night. This triggers another memory. Since the loss of the baby, things had been tense between Jack and Juliet, and one day she just ran away. Jack managed to find her and an argument ensued during which Juliet admitted she didn't really want a child, and Jack pressured her into it. Furious, Jack walked away from the car, intending to take the subway alone. He blamed Juliet's former addiction for the baby's death and broke up with her. Back to the present, Juliet hears an engine nearby and begins honking the horn to get its attention. Two men on a bike stop next to the car and one of them comes inside saying he'll help, but he turns out to be a cannibal who wants to kill her. Make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you can watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.